Knowing my leadership. In our school system, we have a Board of Education that consists of 5 members. Of course, those people are voted upon every so many years, depending on whose term's up and whose isn't. We have a superintendent and assistant superintendent that work along with the directors over very specific programs, such as nutrition, transportation, student services, federal programs, communications, business, attendance, and technology. The superintendent sets the tone for our county, closely followed by our assistant superintendent. They have a pretty good relationship with our board. The high school has 1 main and 4 assistant principals. 2 of our middle schools have a principal and assistant principal, and 2 have just 1 main principal. That's all based on enrollment. 6 of our elementary schools have their own principal, and then 1 principal covers 2 of our elementary schools that are pretty low enrollment, just 100 kids in each school. That has been an issue for the teachers in those schools, because of course when that principal is not at their school, then we have to worry about who's in charge, what's going on when someone's in transit, what if that building needs that principal back for an emergent situation. I do believe they make sure that the guidance counselor and the principal switch so that there's always an administrator that is in charge at that school. So, and also they have added a elementary resource officer this year, so I think that person also can be pulled. Knowing our leaders' characteristics, our superintendent is very positive and handles adversity with grace and diplomacy. She's proactive and not reactive. I think that's pretty important. Our assistant superintendent is much the same way. He makes sure the county is transparent with their decision making. What I mean by that is, in the day and age that we are in, if parents aren't happy, you know about it. It's on Facebook. At least in our community, that's what I see. But to kind of squash the rumors or the hearsay, he will post on our page for the county, let's say they let out kids early because of weather. And, they'll say why they did it at the time they did it, what they were seeing as far as the weather coming in, what they could do as far as getting buses out and kids home safely. There was also a recent incident in our high school with kids and fighting and a lot of tension going on with certain groups, and he basically just went on and said, this is what was going on. These are the hearsay things that are not true, and just basically explained it. And I think that parents appreciate that. I think that also helps dispel a lot of the rumors. Our principals all go through a leadership academy before they're even a principal at a school. You apply when you're a teacher. And then the principals at the high school put in a lot of hours. I do not envy them. They also have the support of resource officers, which I think is a great benefit to our county, that these officers can be in our schools. It's pretty important, I think, when dealing with young adults at the high school, because, some of them want to flex their muscles against authority, and having that resource officer as backup or just to take over the situation, especially when social media can be involved, is a great asset. Our economic conditions. The median household income is $36,989. And, just looking at my profession, we are the 48th lowest pay in our country for a teacher in West Virginia. Actually, there's a big thing going on in our capital right now because they want to only give us a 1% raise. We haven't had a raise in years and years. And then they want to cut our health care to the point where we're actually going to be having a pay cut. So that is a big issue. There are actually boards of education or teachers in different counties going on strike. So, when you look at that, that is a major concern right now in our community. There are areas in Wheeling where there is farming, and there's areas in Wheeling where they're low income and would be considered inner city. It's pretty diverse. There are very high income areas and there are very low income areas. The mining industry and some of the other industries along the Ohio River have taken big hits in recent years and have left men in the household unemployed and without their pensions. That has affected families. And with such a broad scope of socioeconomic statuses in our families, as administrators and teachers, and especially our guidance counselors too, we are very mindful that there are kids that may need financial assistance when we do certain things. And I'd say our schools are pretty good about that. We have resources that we can reach out to help those kids, and so they feel included and don't feel left out, and don't do something just because they can't afford it. Our political structure. Politics is part of the public education system. Our board is elected. Our community pays taxes that fund our schools. Schools need to have a good relationship with their community members. Not just those with children in schools, but those that don't have children in school, because we rely on them. We rely on them to support our levies or any special fundraisers for our schools. We actually have a levy up coming up this year, when we're hoping that our community supports it, because a lot of our schools need a lot of attention. Our high school, the science labs are totally outdated. They're from like 1970. So, we're hoping that passes to give our kids the better technology and the things that they need to succeed as they leave us. Social tensions. One would like to think in this day and age our citizens just all respect each other's differences and get along, but it's not the case with everyone. Not everybody is raised that way. There have been recent tensions between the students at our high school. They were racially charged. Basically, it's kids saying things they shouldn't, using words that they shouldn't on social media or Snapchat, and then kids, of course, show other kids, and then it causes a way bigger issue than it should. It gets blown out of proportion. Then parents hear it, and then parents are saying hearsay on Facebook, and it really caused a big problem at our high school in the past week. But our administrators did a great job, and our resource officers, of keeping it, as small as they could, and addressing it and letting people know exactly what was going on. There are definite cliques at our high school. I think that happens at every high school. Administration has to work with the resource officers and have a solid plan in place to be proactive and know exactly how they will handle different scenarios if they arise. Our resource officers are a great help, especially in the day and age of social media, because it causes a lot of issues in our teen world. And I think that they do a great job of bringing parents in and, kind of explaining what's going on and what they're seeing, because, a lot of parents don't know what their kids are doing out there on their social media pages and Snapchat and Instagram. They would be surprised to see what some of their kids do. So, I think that a lot of social tension anymore comes from social media. Extra sources of information. We have surveys every year by our district toward the end of the year. They're school climate surveys. They're done by staff and students, and the links are sent to parents so that our district can gather that information. Each building principal gets it, and then they decide, okay, for the next year, what are we going to do? What plans are we going to put in place to improve the areas where, there were complaints or we had weaknesses. Each school has an LSIC that consists of parents, teachers, a principal, community members, and service personnel. I think they meet like every month or so. Just talk about things in the school, what could be improved upon, activities coming up, how we could involve community. Our board minutes are put out on the district website. All regularly scheduled meeting dates are published, and these are open to the public. Staff is available by email and phone call. Many staff members use group reminder apps such as Remind 101 to communicate with parents in their classes, and the school utilizes them for large group messages. I know a lot of the coaches or music directors use them as well, because it's just an easy way to get information out to a lot of people quickly. And there are my sources that I used, and that is all. Thank you.